A couple of weeks ago, my dad came home and offered me a small job. One of his colleagues was going away for a few days and needed someone trustworthy to look after his house. The reason my dad suggested this to me was because the man's house has a large CCTV system, essentially a camera in each room and a control desk where all screens were viewed on a large display. And I'm a computer science major, so my dad always assumes I can handle any tech. The man told my dad that he'd pay me $200 for the 2 days just to watch the house. Whatever that implied, my dad took me to the house and introduced me to the man, whose name is irrelevant. The man gave the impression he'd rather have me stay in the room upstairs with the monitors instead of wandering around the house all day. I was okay with that. So when I wasn't eating, I was mostly just sitting in that room with the TV on in the background and doing schoolwork on my laptop. Ironically, watching the monitors was what I was doing the least. Night fell. I began pondering where in the house I should sleep, since surprisingly we hadn't talked about it. So I sat back down at the desk and looked at all the different rooms on the screens to see which rooms had beds or couches. However, I saw something unexpected. The back screen door was open on the ground floor. I don't recall it being open. I looked through each and every camera screen in a panic. In the living room, a closet door was open. I knew this one wasn't open before. I messaged my dad to phone the man and inquire if he returned home. Meanwhile, I kept watching the screen. In the unclear dark picture, a tall figure looking like a mere shadow emerged from the closet. I lifted my arms from the desk and covered my mouth with my hands in shock. While doing this, my left elbow knocked a heavy object off the desk onto the floor, making a loud noise. The person in the image clearly moved their head up to the ceiling in response to the noise. They approached the stairs, ascending very, very slowly, one step at a time. Meanwhile, I received a text from my dad saying, "No, he isn't. I just talked to him half an hour ago. Why?" I was so absorbed in texting my dad for help on my phone that I didn't even notice the monitor. There was a knock at the door. I looked at it and then the screens. The first screen I laid my eyes on was the one showing the person outside the door to the room I was in. When I realized the door was unlockable, my only thought was to leap out the window into the bushes below. I ran halfway down the street, then stopped when my dad called me. I had him call his friend and ask if anyone was expected in the house. The man stated he had no family or buddies who had his key or would just walk into his house. So he phoned the police and had them check the video. I got to watch all of it, and it showed everything. From the moment the intruder broke the glass of the backyard door to the moment I jumped out the window and him running away shortly after. The intruder was never found. The footage was just too dark to identify his face.